whoa. He's like, yeah, I set you up. That was a setup to see. So you failed. So you gotta go. I was like, whoa. Okay, welcome back, family. If you're new here, my name's Reva. On my channel, I just share stories about a lot of madness that I've done. That's just it, so that you can learn from it. All right, so let's get into it. Obviously, the last video I shot was intense, but we're back. This one is about my sugar daddy experiences. I've had a few. I'm not gonna go through all of them. I'm gonna talk about one main one, but I'll skim through the rest. So let's get straight into it. So number one, I had some lawyer, but he was a bit crazy. Like he was a bit crazy. I was like, nah, this can't run. One time I went out to like a restaurant with him, and then he started moving mad in the restaurant. Like, I was like, what's going on? He started saying mad stuff. I was like, what's this guy talking about? After that, I was like, nah, I'm out here. So that was that. Besides that, cool guy. Like, he even made a transfer to me before I even saw him. And I mentioned that actually in one back chat episode. I was like, yeah, like these kind of guys are out there. I'm not promoting it, but it is real. So you had him. And then I had some guy, yeah, ooh, one nice guy, nice apartment, city, whatever, good job, everything. But his breath stank. I seen it was so bad. What I'm gonna say is so disgusting. But I thought, like, you know what? Nice guy, he's cool, whatever, blah blah blah. Maybe it's a one-off, whatever. Gave him a little peck, little kiss. Guys, my mouth stank for 3 days. I was sick. I was like, it was so bad. I think he must have had like a rotten tooth or something. I don't know what was going on. But I learnt my lesson. I was out of there. I met with some other guy and he was all right, but he was a bit too touchy grabby. You get me? All of these guys are just like, 1-2 visits. I'm not, with the sugar daddy thing, yeah. You meet them, you get to know them a bit. You kind of see whether you're gonna keep it, running, because it's not like a quick thing. It's not a one-off thing. It's not a hustle thing. It's sort of like a relationship. It requires a bit of commitment. So if you're not really in it, it can be quite draining. You understand? So you got to do a few searches before you can find a gentleman that you think, okay, cool, I can run this with you. So that's why I've already said about 3 people that I at least went on 1 or 2 dates with, and then you kind of tick the box whether you're on it or not. So this guy, we've gone on a date now, nice guy, whatever, but too touchy feely too early, and he was tall and big, yeah. And I just had this vibe like, you get me? I don't know, something's a bit risky here. So one time he goes to me, oh, for our second date, let's go fishing. We got to wake up about 4, 5 a.m. and blah, 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 go fishing. So at first I was like, okay, this sounds interesting, but as I was pondering in it, I was like, lad, if you go fishing with this guy, they'll be fishing you out the water. You better stay home about waking up 4 a.m. to go fishing. What do you know about fishing? So with him, wrapped it up. I was like, nah, you know what? Boom, boom. And then when I did that, he kind of got a bit aggressive. So I was like, see, I knew there was something about you. Makes sense. So cool. Out of that. So now we've come to the gentleman. I met this guy. It was online. All of these guys I met online first. It was online. So he's like, okay, cool. Let's link up. So he wasn't based in London. He lived like out the end, some countryside way. But he comes to London regularly because he works here. So he said, look, on this day, I'm coming to London. So let's link. I'm like, yeah, no problem. So he meets me in central London now. Guys, this guy comes with one big whip. I think it was like a Bentley or something. Okay, so let me tell you about this guy. White British gentleman, much, much older than me. No less than 65 years old, probably 70, 72, something like that. That proper big old man, yeah. So I jump in and it was nice. I was like, but okay, before I get into that, yeah, because obviously I've been in the Bentley 1 or 2 times. So met him first time. We went to some, I don't know if it's called like a restaurant. It was almost like some museum, hotel type place that had a restaurant. So we've gone there now and chit chatting and that. And I remember him telling me, because we got some wine, and I'm there sipping my wine, and he's like to me, you know, with a wine glass, you got to hold it like this, and your fingers have to be positioned here. They can't be up there, because when the fingers are up here, it does this to the wine. It affects the wine this way, that way. So straight away, I was like, oh, okay, is this who I'm dealing with? Like if I stayed messing with him, he definitely would have put me through some etiquette school or something, level 3 or whatever. I would have gone to the highest. All this that I'm doing, you get me, would have all been gone. Like it wouldn't be in my vocab. It wouldn't have been in my vocab. So cool. Financially now, I remember him going to me, okay, send me a list of all your bills, like all your expenses, everything, send it to me. But he didn't tell me what that meant. So I wasn't sure. I was like, okay. I didn't have much bills at that time. So I just put a little something together, sent it to him. I don't know what he did. He did some next calculation. He was like, okay, based on all your expenses, this is how much I'll give you every month. Boom, 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 boom. And a part of me was like, oh, did I mess myself up? Should I have put like more here or less there? You get me? Because he tried to explain how he worked it out, but it went over my head. So I was like, okay, cool. Either way, it was a good amount of money. Like, I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Take that. So we meet up again, and now when the whip in the Bentley or whatever, and it's not tinted or nothing, so we're driving through main streets, city, and I remember like kind of pushing myself back, like not wanting to be seen, because which I mean, come on now, like that's what we say we want, right? When a guy who's got money, big car, big whip, you're not running for the bus, you're chilling, you get me, you got a driver driving you around. So why is it that now I'm finding myself in this situation? I'm ducking, like I'm moving like it's just like and that's because yeah, I was getting what I wanted, but how I was getting it wasn't right. You understand? It wasn't feeling right to me, and I didn't want to be seen in that light. I didn't want to be people clocking me like, yo, because I know it sounds weird, like, oh, who would have clocked you? But there was just something about it. Obviously, you have to remember that whip's not a common whip, so it's them type of cars that when it drives by, people look. So that's already built-in attention coming in. All it's gonna take is one person knowing me or thinking like, oh, boom, so I remember sitting back in the car, and that's the first time I thought, you need to think about this because you don't really feel comfortable. So moving on, I remember, yeah, me and him, we were having convos, we were talking about certain things because what he did was, or like how he made his money was helping out other businesses that were dying. So I guess he was a business consultant in a way. Whether he just spoke to them and said, yo, this is what you need to do, and they were paying him big money for it, or if he was saving businesses with his own money, like pumping it back in to resuscitate the business, I can't really remember. I think it was a bit of both. So me and him used to talk about business, etc. And I remember him, because I think he asked me, like, kind of what you want to do. And obviously at that time I was not working, so I must have said something to him like, oh, right now I'm kind of just doing a lot of media things. These were the time, remember I told you guys I had that good job, I left it when I got a bit depressed, and then I was kind of doing like video shoots, photo shoots, stuff like that, because I guess I found that more enjoyable. Obviously it wasn't much money in there, but it was enjoyable, and when you're depressed, that's what you're looking for, something to kind of pump you back up. So, oh, having said that, someone was in the comments saying, yo, Reva, did I see you in the Only Ways Essex? I'm like, yes, you did. I was an extra in the Only Ways, the Only Ways Essex in, I think it was like some club scene or something. So yeah, that's the era where I was doing stuff like that. So that same era, I was in a gigs video, Lockdo video, and a Style OG music video, So all of that time was around that season. So I think I mentioned him that that's kind of what I'm doing now. And I remember him saying to me, he said, "Yo, you know, with the fame thing and all that, just remember like the way they will kind of bring you up is as fast as they'll bring you down." So, and that never left my mind. Like, I always used to be like, I don't know, that just always resonated with me. That resonated with me. And I guess, yeah, it was one of the reasons it just helped me move correct whenever I come to the screen, whether that's being honest, having integrity, whatever. It's something that stayed in my mind. Now, one thing about that is, yeah, I think he had people in his circle that were quite high in the music industry. Okay. You got your little two managers, whatever, doing their thing, but you got the labels, the people at the back, them executives who really pump the money in. I think he has some people like that in his circle. So he knew how all of them stuff go. That's why he warned me. He said, he's probably thinking, yo, I know what my associates tell me and how they manage artists and celebrities. I know what they go for. I know what they kind of got to do. So I'm advising you to think twice before entering that realm. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because a time came where I felt like, you know what? All this is cool and that, but something don't feel right. Something don't feel right with like having this guy as my sugar daddy. Even though I've searched for quite a while, I've gone through a few trashes, crossed them off. I finally found one decent package. So what's going on? But I just had this feeling that this guy, his sugar daddy arrangement, yeah, it's not about pleasure. It's not about pleasure. You could tell it wasn't about pleasure. It was deeper than that. And I felt like I could be totally wrong, but he gave me them vibes like he was in some sort of secret society. Them kind of gentlemen, like, because me and you completely opposite. Like I said to you before, with the sugar daddy thing, you have to have some little kind of connection to a degree because it's ongoing. But me and him, I just felt like, why you choose? You get me? Like me? And I felt like, you know what? Maybe this guy needs my essence. He needs like spiritually, he needs something that's within me. You get me? Like he needs my life force to give him more life force, if that makes sense. Because things like that do go on. And when I say this guy is, first of all, like I said, my man's driving around with a Bentley. So his Bentley driver picks him up. I think he said he comes to London actually Monday to Friday. So he gets driven in a Bentley from his yard to London back and forth every day. And I remember he had a library in his yard. I remember him sending me, and I was like, yeah, this guy's a different kettle of fish. Another thing is, he told me, he's like, yeah, my wife knows that. Well, I don't know if he was lying, but he didn't seem like the type that would lie. This is what I'm trying to say. He's them kind of guys. I don't need to lie to nobody. I do what I want, how I want. I am who I am. I've got money. Like, I'm king. So if you're on it, you're on it. If you're not, you're not. So he's like, yeah, my wife knows that, you get me? I come and I have my arrangements. She even knows my schedule. She knows I'll come this day, that day, see you from this time, that time. And I was like, rah, this is proper sugar daddy arrangement type thing. This is not this is not some, you get me, minor situation here. So all these things adding, I was like, I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this. So I can't remember how, but we wrapped it up. I think I just told him straight, like, you know what, yeah, I don't think so about this. I don't think so about this. If that's how it wrapped up, I think so. I believe so, something like that. Because I remember him saying something to me like, okay, that's cool. And I hope that you do find, he was like, you're a really lovely girl. And I hope that you do find like a gentleman, you get me, to love you, and you and him can do his thing, whatever. And I was like, thank you very much, etc., etc. And so I think we parted ways. But I do remember a time coming where I was like, eesh, I think I messed up, you know. I think I messed up. I need to hit this guy up. I need to hit this guy up. So I hit him up and he was like, oh, I've got a new arrangement. I've got a new lady. Boom, is working for us. She's happy with the arrangement. So I can't have both of you. You get what I'm saying? So opportunity missed basically. And I was like, oh. But then, like I said, that was another low point because think about the reason why I left him. Because I felt like my soul was at risk mixing with a guy like him. But now I'm low again. I want to throw all that out the window. That little inner guidance, that little warning that the God in me was saying, yo, be mindful. I wanted to throw that out and get back into it for money. That's why they say like you can't do both. You can't be righteous and love money. Not that you can't be righteous and have money, not that you can't be righteous and want it and chase it and aspire for it and live a life of a wealthy person. It's not that, but loving money, there's a different level to that. You get what I mean? The energy behind that is different. Like to be in love with something is a different ball game. So that's what my situation was, where I was happy to write things off because I was like, right now, I need to love money because I ain't got much, so I need it. You get what I'm saying? But thankfully, because sometimes if God was to leave it to me, I would have, my life would be over by now. So sometimes he's even got to go through the other people to help me. Same way, remember I told you about the guy, one of the times that one of the gentlemen that I fell pregnant for, when he came to me and he said, yo, I have this feeling I need to leave you alone. I need to stay away from you. Do you understand? That's how it happened now. I've gone to the sugar say, no, I'm not available. Whereas if he was available, I would have signed up myself again. God knows where I would be now. So my sugar daddy's experiences were not extensive. And they were not extensive because, like I said, they required commitment. I wasn't good with that. I didn't mind in and out, here, there, but with the sugar daddy thing, it's more regular. Oh, we meet once a week, we meet twice a week. It's like sometimes it's like, I don't want to meet you. You understand? Like, I don't want to like see you today or tomorrow. Like maybe once a month or whatever. And so that basically wasn't my style. And that's how I slowly then could end up in the hustle life, because that one was just more like, okay, cool, call me. My man then will call me like, yo, you good, you free? Yeah, boom. If I'm not, yeah, no, I'm not. Choose as and when I want. When you got an arrangement, it's sort of like, well, we've arranged this, you get me? So what I want. So that's how, you know, from losing virginity young, mixing with all sorts of guys, sugar daddyism, you know, hustling, it all kind of leads, well, I say hustling, in between that I believe was attempting to do the strip club thing as well, also realizing, nah, this is not for me. Like, I love dancing, don't get me wrong, but not in that way. Like, I'm just like, nah, this is not for me. So, and having said that, actually, let me quickly throw in a strip club story. So I've gone to one place to audition and they're like, yeah, cool, we'll like you to, we're happy for you to join us. I'm like, perfect, okay, cool, I'll come along. So after that, I've gone in for another shift, and prior to that, obviously they tell you like, this is how it works here, this is the rules, this is how it goes, these are the do's, these are the don'ts. Stick to them, we'll be friends. Don't stick to them, it'll be the end. So I'm like, okay, cool. Two incidents happened, yeah. One of them is someone came and was like, yo, I want a private dance from this lady. So I was like, okay, cool, no problem, let's roll. So we go into like the little cubicle, doing the private dance. And then obviously part of the private dance, you know, for me anyway, I was kind of whining on the gentleman. Finish the private dance. Come out now. There's two managers in the strip club. One's like a white British guy. One is like, I guess he was black, but he could have been mixed with something else. And he had like I think like an American accent. So he used to come back and forth. He weren't based here. That's why it was two of them. And he was lovely, he was kind, you know, he was understanding, he was kind of fatherly in a weird way, given the situation. But like the white British guy was more like, so when I come out now, the white British guy's switching on me. He's like, yo, you're not supposed to touch the guy, you're not supposed to be dancing on him. Da, da, da. I must have not got the memo on that. I was like, oh, really? He was like, yeah. Da, 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 da. I was like, and one thing he said to me, and it penetrated my mind, he was like, if you want to do that, you might as well go and be like an escort or like a, I don't want to say the word. And I remember it like really hitting me. I was like, oh my God, like that day I cried. I was like, oh, I'll cry because obviously it was an honest mistake. I didn't see it that day. But that thing stayed in my head. And it's funny how later on in life, I did end up going down that road. Do you get me? Just through the penetration of those words. So, and I'm going to get into that as well, like the steps as well leading to that. So the other incident that happened in the strip club was, they say, ladies, don't mix with any of the clients. Like, don't mix with them and try to get service out of here and all that. Don't be taking DLs and getting personal with them. You do your job, you keep it separate. That one I did hear, but I didn't register. So one guy's trying to chat to me. So I'll go sit next to him and we're talking, nice gentleman, whatever, we're chit-chatting. And then he writes his number on a piece of paper, folds it and kind of like slides it to me. So I take it and he's like, oh yeah, I'm a manager of an insurance company, like a big insurance company, car insurance company. So I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Next day, I'm like, cool, let me hit up this number. Excited. I hit up the number. I think either it didn't go through or it went through. And then when I was kind of like asking to speak with him, giving the name, they were a bit like, I'm in an R and like. So basically, I didn't get through to him. Cool. Another shift's come up. I get there. White British man's amped. He's like, calm. I'm like, okay. He's like, we told you not to be switching contacts and da 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 da. I know that you took someone's number. I'm just looking at him like, he's like, yeah, I set you up. I was like, whoa. He's like, yeah, I set you up. That was a setup to see. So you failed. So you gotta go. I was like, whoa. he's been on me. So now that I've slipped up, that's it. He's like, go. You gotta get out of here. I was like, cool. You know what? Once again, God is saving me from the back. He's sending someone else to save me because my decisions are just. And that's how I kind of left that strip club and that kind of industry. And I was just like, oh, this is not for me, whatever. And I left. But guys, I want to say something here quite profound. One time I was reading a book, an educational book, I say like a textbook, yeah, that you're supposed to read, study the thing, take notes and use it in your coursework or whatever. And the topic I was reading about was like crime and all these type of stuff. And there was a section in it about hustling, women that hustle. It was more about women that hustle in the streets and dealing with substances and all those type of things. And guys, I remember, yeah, reading that section of the book and just feeling like that what the essence of the book was entering into me. Sounds so weird, but that's what it felt like. I could feel what I was reading was going into my soul, going into my body, like. And I told myself, stop reading, blood, close the book. But I didn't. I wouldn't say I couldn't, but it felt like I couldn't. It felt like I didn't want to. It's like I kind of still wanted to keep reading it. But I knew, close the book, stop reading the book. And that's something that always comes to my mind. I feel like, yo, that book here really kicked off something in me. Like when I was reading them lines, it kind of possessed me, so to speak, and it made me do the things that the book was talking about. I know. It's just weird stuff, but that's just the best way I can put it. That's just the best way I can put it. With the strip club team, I also met this guy on road. He chirps me, whatever, cool, whatever. I didn't really link to him. But when he called me, he was like, yo, have you ever thought about stripping? I was like, no. I was thinking, what are you talking about? By this time, I mean, that's not part of my vocab, but that's not in my mind. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. I just thought, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, my bedroom's got a little club and we're looking for two girls. So I thought if you were interested. And I was like, nah. So boom, he sowed the seed into my head because shortly after that, I'm finding myself doing strip club auditions. When before that, that never passed my mind. That never passed my mind, guys. So, influence, surrounding, environments, the power of words. Oi, it's not a joke. So when they say spells are basically words, I've definitely lived through that a zillion times. And that's my sugar daddy story / strip club story, etc. etc. Take what you may from it, learn what you can from it, and let's just keep moving. All right, lots of love. Thank you for joining me again. Ciao for now.